So hello everyone, today we have on our TV show Alexander Corey. He will be our guest for today. Could you please introduce yourself to us?
Hi, I'm Alexander Corey. I come from Canada, where I studied science and education, and I'm currently teaching at the British School of Baatar.
And the kids you teach, what grade would they be in?
I teach year 4.
Year 4, 4th grade?
Year 4 would be closer to 3rd grade. They're about 8 years old.
8 years old, okay. And compared to any other kids you teach prior to Mongolia, how are the kids over here in Mongolia?
I have to say they are my favorite kids by far.
Are you just saying this because you're on a TV show?
I am not just saying that because I'm on a TV show. The children are genuinely very interested in learning, very well behaved, not a lot of difficulties that I've dealt with in other areas that I have taught in. So I mean, there's still challenges. Obviously, most children are scared to be wrong and to kind of overcome that. But behavior-wise and I mean, I work at a private school. Generally, they're very wealthy families. Wealthy families. But the children are wonderful, good people. They're not spoiled at all. Just very good, caring people that want to learn.
And for the children, do they have the are they ambitious for learning as far as what you teach in your curriculum?
Absolutely. They very much want to please their parents. They very much want to please their teachers. They want to do well. I've had the opportunity to work with the secondary students, the older students as well, through leadership development camps and the outdoor education ECA that I do. And it's an exciting time because, I mean, even these 14-year-old students they're already thinking politics or business or medicine. Like, they already have these plans that they want to do to bring back to Mongolia, and they're excited about their future.
Okay, so we talked about what you do over here in Mongolia. Prior to coming to Mongolia, where did you work before?
As a teacher or in general?
As a teacher in general, and growing up, what was it like for you growing up? What college you were in? A little bit of background.
I mean, I've been working since I was about 12 years old.
Okay.
My father lives in Europe, and I went to visit him, and naturally he put me to work on a golf course. So I was getting up early and raking sand traps. Drive my little machine. From there, I worked every summer. I worked in a grocery store, gas station, fast food, landscaping, lifeguarding, education consultant. I mean, I've done most of the jobs that you do in the Western world growing up. From there, I went to the Middle East, where I taught for 3.5 years, both secondary and primary, which was an interesting experience. And then I had an opportunity to come to Mongolia, and I thought it would be an interesting place to go.
So as far as Mongolia's education system, in this sector, do you see any improvements, or is there a space for more improving and more educating today's kids to the point where they are at international standards of the education system?
It's tough to say because I haven't seen that much of the Mongolian education system. I've seen the product of it with my students, and about a month or two ago I had the opportunity, a few colleagues and I went down to Sanshand and to that province to work with the teachers there, and we gave some professional development on how we run things. We went to observe some of their teachers in some of their schools and how they did things, and the lessons I saw were very good lessons. There was a high quality of education there. I think there's a heavy emphasis on mathematics and science within the Mongolian curriculum, and they can do very high-level maths. Where they need to improve on that is with the creativity of it and the problem-solving aspect of it. I can give a quadratic formula to a group of 11 or 12-year-olds that can do that. But if I give them a real-world problem where they need to apply that, they're stuck. And that I think is the area where they need to develop more. So they're doing higher-level mathematics, but they're not applying higher level mathematics.
In real life.
In real life situations. Whereas in our curriculum, they're doing lower level mathematics at the same age, but there's a heavier focus on, here's the question, are you going to use this solution, are you going to use this solution,
Yes.
how are you going to solve this? Not
Yes.
just plugging numbers into a formula.
So before Mongolia, where was the place you were teaching? When you were a teacher?
Doha, Qatar.
Qatar.
Was where I was, in the Middle East, the peninsula off of Saudi Arabia.
Okay, and let's compare Qatar to Mongolia. What would you have to say? The biggest change for you coming from Qatar to Mongolia that you had to make in your life?
The first thing was it was green here.
Green.
I arrived in the summertime, and there was lush, rolling hills. There was a change in the topography. It was very, very nice. I remember I just came and I just look out my window. There's a beautiful mountain there, rolling hills, blue skies. It was just nice. I mean, Doha is a very beautiful place in its own right, but it's very, very flat. It's flat, rocky desert. Generally, most of the country. The barrenness is unique, but it gets old. So coming here, where there's rolling hills and valleys, that was the biggest change. Lifestyle-wise, Qatar is a very interesting place because it is the richest country in the world per capita, or was while I was there.
Okay.
And yet you have what many people would call a modern day of slavery. Happening there.
Slavery as in concentration camps, would that be a proper word?
Not necessarily concentration camps, the labor camps.
Labor camps.
Labor
okay.
camps. They import from most developing countries in Asia and Southeast Asia and pay them a terrible wage, very poor living conditions.
So it's a modern day slavery.
Modern day form of slavery. Yeah. I mean, they are paid a wage, but it's a very small wage. There's companies that they owe fees to for having found the job. They take their passports, so they can't leave or they can't go to different countries. So it's a very mixed area where you have literally the richest people in the world, and then the majority of the country is this workforce that is imported or expatriate, and then we would be somewhere in the middle. So I mean, you're going down these poor streets where there's 12 men living in a small room, and there's people driving Ferraris or Rolls Royces through these neighborhoods.
Well, that's compared to Mongolia. That's very
Mongolia's people are much more on the same page. I mean, obviously you have your wealthy people and your poor people, but the middle class here is much larger and much more akin to what I grew up with in Canada, where the middle class is the largest amount of people.
And now how long have you been here?
About 18 months.
18 months. So last year you're a little used to the cold weather for now.
The cold weather actually does not bother me that much. It's a very, very dry cold. And where I come from, in Canada, it's a very, very wet cold. It's a very humid cold. So a minus 25, where I'm from, hurts as much as a minus 40 or a minus 45 here.
Yes.
So I walk outside, like, minus 30, this doesn't feel like minus 30, this is all right.
Yes. And for pollution, I guess that can be a really big problem.
The pollution, last winter, I didn't notice it. I was aware of it and I heard people talking about it, but it didn't affect me. This winter's been very bad. I've noticed it a lot more this winter. I mean, we can't even see the power plants.
Yeah. Do you think it's an increase in pollution, or was it last year that you weren't going out as much, or what was that about?
I don't know. My guess would be that it's not as cold this winter, and there's probably not as much wind to move the pollution out of the valley. But I don't know.
Yes, and for when you were back home, how was your back home lifestyle like compared to now?
Back home or back in Qatar? I've been traveling for...
Back in Canada.
The roads were a lot less empty. I had a lot more freedom in terms of where I could drive, and I lived about 30 kilometers outside of my city, and it was a 15, 20-minute drive. Now 15 or 20 minutes of driving gets me 300 meters.
Yes.
That's probably the biggest difference. The world's very small now. I can find most things I want. I can order things from the US using freight forwarding companies. The pollution and the traffic are probably the two things I've had the most difficulty adjusting to.
And during your free time in Mongolia, what do you like to do?
I probably spend an unhealthy amount of time at Rosewood.
Rosewood restaurant?
Restaurant, yeah. I go there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner fairly often. Love your food, Cliff. All right. I'll go out for friends. Karaoke is a very popular pastime that even if you don't start the night with the plans of going to karaoke, they often end up going to karaoke anyways.
Because it stays open to a specific time where everything else is closed. So.
Closes. And it's fun. It's fun singing and making fun of your friends. We have a friend we like to bring along because he's terrible.
So, important question. Do you find places that are unforeign friendly a problem? Have you ever ran into a problem where a particular place you were at and then you ran into a problem because you're a foreigner here in a different country that you're not used to? And
yes, I think most foreigners, judging from online forums and expats in Mongolia on Facebook, the most infamous Facebook page here, most of us have had some kind of run-in. I mean, any country in the world, you're going to have people that aren't happy about foreigners. It was in the Middle East, it's here. I'm sure there's many, many Mongolians that have traveled to the US or England and Canada that have faced similar situations.
Yeah.
To me, I think the biggest difference is where I'm from, predominantly white, very few minorities. But if there was someone being overtly racist, strangers would step in to stop it.
Yeah.
And here, the stage I'm at right now is I will have Mongolian friends that will step in to stop it. If I'm out with Mongolians, colleagues or friends, a few times I've been very touched that Mongolian friends have vehemently stood up for me to their best friends, which I'm very much appreciative. I'm hoping that eventually one day you'll get to the stage where it's frowned upon by most people, and most people will step up and say something. The other hand is expats don't always help themselves. I've met some very rude and arrogant expatriates who I don't like, and I kind of want to hit them sometimes. So
yes.
It can go both ways.
Yes, and today for our interview, I see how your style is. Very unique style. You have a gray sweater and purple pants with brown shoes. Tell us a little bit about your style.
Well, the jacket's borrowed.
Okay.
It's a borrowed jacket. It's from a good friend. I like how it looks. The purple pants. I had really boring pants. It's just like, do I want to go with this beige or black? And so over the holidays, I picked up some more bright colored pants. I've got a pair that look like our friend Sam's over here as well. So I'm switching it up a little bit. I like mixing the colors. It might look terrible to other people, but I like how it looks, so I roll. I got green over here too.
Yeah, you got green.
There's no matching, none.
Okay. And also your hairstyle and mustache.
Hairstyle. I put a lot of effort into both of these every day. It's people look at this and they say like, it doesn't look like you put much effort in. I put a lot of effort in. My alarm goes off at 5. I start with a tea tree oil massage on the scalp, and I have a special beard oil that I get. I can't grow a very thick one. I have to coax it out. It's about 2 hours every day to get this look.
That is very nice. And speaking of your vacation, have you went on a vacation during the New Year and came back?
Yep, I didn't go home. I went to Canada, but I went to the other side of Canada to visit some friends and family there.
So you didn't stop by family?
I have some uncles that live in Vancouver.
Oh, Vancouver.
So I went to Vancouver. The weather was very warm and lovely. I ate a lot, as one does at Christmas and New Year's, and then I came back to Mongolia to do some teaching.
So staying across the world from your family, I guess sometimes it has to be hard for you, being so far away from loved ones and not seeing them from time to time.
It is, and a lot of expatriates deal with that in different ways. It's very, very hard on some people I know. It's less hard on me. I've been traveling since I was 8 years old. My parents lived in different countries. They were divorced, so I was going back and forth. I was used to missing them, and with homesickness, I kind of got over that. But it's still, you get excited when it's 3 or 4 days. You're going, your mom's there, and your mom's excited, and your cousins are there, and there's a family event happening, and you get to see everyone, and then the kids are starting to grow up now, making me feel old. But it's something that I definitely look forward to. Skype helps, email helps. I mean, there's FaceTime and iMessage and WhatsApp. There's lots of ways to maintain communication. So it makes it easier, but it's certainly nice when you do get to go home.
And looking at your ring, I noticed you had a ring on your hand. Are you engaged or have a girlfriend?
No.
Or even a marriage?
No, in my culture, it's this finger.
Well, yeah, it is this finger, but a lot of people want to switch it up between now and then. I don't know if they want to look single or look...
Nope. If I was engaged, no, I wouldn't wear an engagement ring. That's what the girls do. If I was married, I would have a wedding band. This is a present from my mother. She saved the engagement rings, or sorry, the wedding bands from my father and her when they divorced. She saved them, and when I graduated high school, she melted them together and made a ring with my initials on it. I don't know if you guys can zoom in or not, but if you can, there you go. Yeah, nice. We're good? All right.
Yeah, so what kind of, besides rosewood, there's a lot of, today in Mongolia, there's a lot of different varieties of food, restaurants, even KFC's open now, and then besides rosewood, any other places that you like to visit and have even dinner or...
I love hosher.
Hosher.
I favor the vegetarian hosher. There is a place, is it called Mirage, attached to the Gobi outlet store?
Yes, Mirage.
Mirage, they have a wonderful vegetable hosher that I really enjoy. California is nice
restaurant.
as well. The Bull and all of the hot pot places and the Mongolian grill places are very good. I mean, there's lots of good foods here, good food here, and good food establishments. Kapinski Brunch is somewhere where I like to go on Sunday. It's nice. You go in, you pay, you get your coffee, you spend 2 or 3 hours with some good friends, and it's a nice way to end the week.
So, being from Canada, there must be some kind of sport that you are interested in, or like to see the stats and follow up on the games. Or is there anything like that for you now?
I'm a terrible man. I do not follow sports that much. Where I do care is coming up very soon is the Olympics. And anything, we just had the World Juniors. Canada did not perform that well. A little disappointed. Canadian hockey is the epitome of being Canadian. So it's our
like for Americans have American football, Canadians have their hockey.
Canadians and hockey it's very intertwined with our culture. It's not even our national sport, but it's probably the most important sport in Canada.
Yes,
it's what all the cool kids play.
So
I didn't play.
Yes, and we have Tsagan coming up, Mongolian national holiday.
Yes.
Will you be going through anybody's houses, co-workers, or staying home, or is there anything that you'll be doing?
I'm not sure yet. Last year I was dating a very nice Mongolian girl, and we went around to all of her friends' house. I didn't realize this. It was a Wednesday, and I thought I was going to one friend's home, and this one friend offered me vodka. Naturally, okay, have some vodka, some puts. But then we went to another friend's home, and they offered me some vodka and some puts. And I think it was about 8 or 9 friends by the end of the night, which means 8 or 9 shots of vodka. I had an early night after that.
It was a long night for you.
It was a long day the next day.
Yes. So you have no plans of going out to anybody's house for this year, but...
What are you doing? gonna have me over?
Probably visit families and relatives.
Are you inviting me to your house for Sagan
You're more than welcome to come over.
Wonderful.
Yes, we'll give you some presents and some boards and vodka shots as well.
Oh, good, wonderful, excellent.
Yes. So with our last but not least, do you have any messages or anything you want to say to the Mongolian youth and the young generation that's coming above, and for people abroad in general? Now we do, in Mongolian society, we do face a problem with Mongolian young generation going abroad and studying over there, not coming back, and instead of coming back and sharing the knowledge and the wisdom they have learned from other high economic countries, and then not bringing them over here. Is there a message or anything that you'd like to say for that?
I mean, every day. I mean, that's part of my job, really. Most of the students I work with, their plan is to come back and repatriate Mongolia. My message, I guess, is you are a country. You're a very young country. I mean, you've been a democracy now for, what, 23 years, 24 years?
20, yeah, close to that.
I mean, that's in terms of a country, that's a very, very young country. You look at all these developed, high economic countries, as you say,
yes,
and they've been around at least hundreds of years. They've had a long time and a lot of support from older systems. It's going to take time for you to get where your country, where you want it to be. But the youth are what are going to make that happen. That it's not the old guard that's going to make that change. It is the young students of today that need to bring back their knowledge, need to bring in their creativity from within the country to make those changes happen over time. If you're interested in medicine, there's lots of things you can do with medicine here. If you're interested in politics or law, there's a lot of opportunity. But there's a lot for Mongolia to be proud of, and I think that there's a lot for what they will be proud of looking down the road if they make that effort to put it back into their country.
And so here we are at the end of our show, and Mahler TV wants to thank you for coming and joining our show for today, and we wish you the best in your near future and a very high career. And thank you for coming.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you.